Three different groups walk into the same cinema planning to kill each other. The Nazis think they're there to watch a movie. Shosanna thinks she's there to get revenge. And the bastard think they're about to assassinate Hitler. Nobody realizes they're all walking into the same trap. But this story starts 3 years earlier when one Nazi officer has a teenage girl in his rifle sights and makes the mistake of letting her live. A French farmer is chopping wood when 3 German vehicles pull up outside his house. He stops, looks toward the road, and immediately knows this isn't a social call. A German officer steps out. Hans Landa, the man they've started calling the Jew hunter. Landa walks toward the house with a smile on his face, shakes the farmer's hand, and asks if they can have a little chat. The farmer brings him inside. Once Landa is seated, the farmer offers his guest some wine. But Landa refuses. He wants milk. The farmer's wife brings it over. Landa takes a slow sip and settles into his chair like he's got nowhere else to be. Because apparently the most terrifying Nazi in France prefers his interrogations with refreshments. And that's what makes this so uncomfortable. Landa politely asks the farmer to join him at the table and starts talking like they're old friends. But the farmer knows what's really happening. Landa isn't here because he likes the countryside. He's hunting a Jewish family. And he's convinced the farmer is hiding them. Landa calmly explains that what they need to discuss should be in private. The farmer then asks his wife to leave with the girls. Now there's nobody else in the room. Just Landa and the farmer. Landa asks the farmer to speak English, as he has exhausted the extent of his French. The farmer obliges and the conversation continues in English. Colonel Landa further explains that Jewish families have become very good at disappearing. They change their names. They hide with sympathetic neighbors. They pretend to be ordinary French citizens. He mentions almost casually that people call him the Jew hunter and explains with genuine professional pride.
Are you aware of the nickname the people of France have given me?
That the nickname exists because he's disturbingly good at thinking like the people he's hunting. Then he looks directly at the farmer and asks if he knows anything about the Dreyfus family.
What have you heard about the Dreyfuses, Monsieur Lapetit?
Only rumors.
I love rumors.
Landa smiles. That's the first problem. Because Landa didn't come here hoping to find the truth. He came here already believing he knows it. The conversation gets quieter. And whatever secret is buried underneath them. Landa starts explaining why hiding Jewish people is dangerous. He asks permission to smoke an absurdly oversized pipe that clearly isn't even his usual style.
May I smoke my pipe as well?
Please, go and make yourself at home.
Just to drag the tension out a little longer, because apparently terrifying people faster would ruin the fun. And piece by piece, without ever raising his voice or drawing a weapon,
Sheltering enemies of the state, are you not?
He walks this farmer straight into confessing that the Dreyfus family is hiding directly beneath his own feet. And suddenly the farmer knows and he knows. The Jewish family is hiding underneath them. The farmer finally cracks. He admits they're there. Landa doesn't celebrate. He doesn't even look surprised. He opens the front door and silently waves his soldiers in from outside. He points out the exact spot on the floor. Then he gives the order. Machine guns rip through the floorboards. The family underneath the house has nowhere to run. They're trapped. And Landa just watches while the gunfire tears through the floor. Then something moves outside. A girl. Shosanna. She's running. Landa sees her. He raises his rifle. For the first time, that smug smile disappears. Shosanna doesn't look back at all, but she has nowhere to go. Landa has the shot. And then, he lets her run. Shosanna disappears into the distance. Landa simply watches. He has no idea what he's just done. Because that girl isn't going to die. She's going to Paris. She's going to inherit a cinema. And 3 years from now, the same man who just murdered her family will unknowingly help create the perfect opportunity for her revenge. Because Landa thinks he just finished hunting Shosanna Dreyfus. He doesn't realize he's just given her 3 years to plan what happens next. 3 years later, France is still occupied. But now the Germans have another problem. His name is...
My name is Lieutenant Aldo Raine, and I'm putting together a special team.
Lieutenant Aldo Raine.
Soldiers.
And Aldo isn't interested in fighting the war politely. He's assembling a team of Jewish American soldiers with one job: kill Nazis. Not capture them. Not negotiate. Kill them. And Aldo has a very specific way of doing it. He wants his men to become a story German soldiers tell each other in whispers. Aldo's goal isn't just to reduce the number of Nazis. He wants to make every Nazi soldier wonder what happens if the bastard catch him.
And the German will talk about us. And the German will fear us. And when the German closes their eyes at night, and they're tortured by their subconscious for the evil they have done,
That's why Aldo demands scalps. 100 from every man. And if that sounds excessive, you haven't met Donnie Donowitz yet. The Germans call him the Bear Jew. And there's a reason. Donnie walks into a German prisoner's interrogation carrying a baseball bat. The prisoner has refused to give Aldo information about his men. So Aldo gives him a choice. Talk or meet the Bear Jew.
I heard of the Bear Jew.
What'd you hear?
Then Donnie walks in. He's casually swinging the bat. And suddenly, this German soldier who was ready to die for his country starts looking like he wishes he'd picked a different career. Donnie doesn't need to explain what he's famous for. The reputation has already arrived before he does. And that's exactly what Aldo wants, fear. But Donnie isn't the only weapon in Aldo's collection. There's Hugo Stiglitz, a former German soldier who turned against the Nazis and started killing Nazi officers himself. The German army knows his name. They know his face. And now he's fighting for Aldo.
Your status as Nazi killers still amateur. We all come here to see if you want to go pro.
The Bastard aren't just soldiers anymore. They're becoming a legend. German soldiers are hearing stories about Americans who hunt them, torture them, kill them, and carve their enemies apart. And somewhere in Berlin, even Hitler has heard about them. But while Aldo is building a reputation through fear, Shosanna is quietly building something else. A future target list. Because the girl Landa let escape is now running a cinema in Paris. And one German soldier is about to give her the opportunity she's been waiting for. Friedrich Zoller is a young German war hero. He supposedly killed 68 enemy soldiers from a bell tower. Goebbels turns the story into a propaganda film called Nation's Pride. And Zoller becomes fascinated with Shosanna. She isn't interested. Not even slightly. But Zoller has influence. Enough influence to convince Goebbels to move the film's premiere to Shosanna's cinema. And suddenly, her tiny theater is about to host the most important Nazis in Europe. Goebbels, Hitler and the German leadership. And possibly Hans Landa. Shosanna looks around her cinema. Then she looks at Marcel. And the idea becomes obvious. If they're all coming to her, why not make sure they never leave? Shosanna has a cinema full of Nazi targets. Aldo has soldiers willing to die to destroy them. But now a third plan enters the game, and this one has Hitler himself in the crosshairs. The problem is getting inside. Because the Nazis aren't the only people planning an assassination. British Lieutenant Archie Hickox is recruited for a mission called Operation Kino. The objective is simple. Get close to Hitler and kill him. And then take out as much of the Nazi leadership as possible.
We have all our rotten eggs in one basket.
What should we drink to, sir?
Well, down with Hitler.
Hickox will disguise himself as a German officer. Bridget von Hammersmark, a famous German actress secretly working for the Allies, will help him. And the Bastard will handle the explosives. For once, everything seems to be going according to plan. Which is usually when things go horribly wrong. Hickox meets Bridget and two German allies in a basement tavern. They're drinking. They're talking. They're blending in. Then Major Hellstrom arrives. And Hellstrom isn't just another German officer. He's observant. He sits down. Starts asking questions. And suddenly Hickox isn't having a conversation. He's taking an exam. Hellstrom asks where Hickox is from. Hickox answers. Hellstrom asks about his military background. Hickox answers. Bridget watches. Stiglitz watches. Everyone is pretending this is normal. It isn't. Hellstrom can smell something wrong. And then Hickox makes one tiny mistake. He orders 3 drinks. But instead of holding up 3 fingers the German way, he uses the British gesture. Hellstrom sees it. His expression changes. And Hickox immediately realizes the cover is gone. Nobody reaches for a gun, not yet. Because everyone understands what happens next. Then Hickox makes his choice. He reaches for his weapon. And the entire basement erupts. Fire tears through the roof. Hickox is killed. The German soldiers are killed. Hellstrom is killed. The mission is almost completely destroyed. But Bridget survives.
I'm alive!
And that's enough. Because the premiere is still happening. And there's even bigger news. Hitler himself is going to be there. Now the mission isn't just about killing a few important Nazis. They're going after the entire leadership.
However, there's something you don't know. There have been 2 recent developments. The venue has been changed from the Ritz to a much smaller...
The Bastard adapt. Aldo and his men will enter disguised as Italian filmmakers. Donnie and Omar will sneak explosives into the cinema. Bridget will help them get inside. And Shosanna? She has her own plan. Nobody is coordinating these plans. That's what makes the finale so dangerous. Shosanna wants revenge. Aldo wants to destroy the Nazis. The British want Hitler dead. And Hans Landa is about to walk into the middle of all three. By the time the premiere begins, almost everyone inside that theater has a secret. And the man who thinks he's clever enough to uncover them all is Hans Landa. The premiere begins. The Nazis arrive. Goebbels takes his seat. Hitler arrives. The theater fills with German officers. And Shosanna watches from above. For her, this isn't entertainment. This is the moment she's been waiting for years. Her want hasn't changed. She wants revenge. And now almost everyone she wants is sitting inside her cinema. But then Friedrich Zoller finds her. He follows her upstairs to the projection room. Shosanna tells him to leave. He doesn't. Zoller wants her attention. She wants him nowhere near her. The argument gets worse. And Shosanna finally grabs a gun. She shoots him. But Zoller doesn't die immediately. He turns around and shoots her. Shosanna dies instantly. Zoller collapses. But she made sure it wouldn't matter. Before the premiere even began, she'd already set everything in motion. The reel loaded, the film primed to switch on its own, the building rigged to burn. Her plan doesn't need her alive to finish. Downstairs, Donnie and Omar are sitting among the Nazis with explosives hidden beneath their clothes. Then it's time to move upstairs. Donnie moves first and Omar follows after. They're waiting. Then, right on cue, the film changes.
Who wants to send a message to Germany?
I have a message for Germany.
The Nazis look up. Friedrich Zoller disappears from the screen, and Shosanna's face takes his place. Her giant face fills the theater. The same girl Hans Landa once allowed to escape. Now she's staring down at hundreds of Nazis. And she's telling them they're going to die.
That you are all going to die.
The audience starts to panic. But they don't understand the real problem yet. Because Shosanna hasn't just prepared a message. She's prepared the building. In the chaos, Donnie and Omar make their move. They overpower Hitler's security detail outside the box and seize their weapons. They close the distance to Hitler's box, burst in, and open fire with machine guns point blank on Hitler and Goebbels. They keep firing long after both men are dead. Then they turn their guns on the crowd below, spraying the audience with gunfire. The Nazis came here expecting a movie. Instead, Shosanna has turned the entire cinema into a bomb. The moment Landa discovers that the actress, Bridget, was supporting the bastard, he has his men arrest Aldo. All the explosives on Aldo are removed, loaded into a truck, and everyone is driven to an empty bar to complete the exchange. While the premiere gets underway, Landa makes his move. He already knows Germany is losing. So he gets Aldo alone and radios his own commanding officers. His terms are specific. Full military pension.
I want my full military pension and benefits under my proper rank.
The Congressional Medal of Honor. Full American citizenship. A house on Nantucket. In exchange, he reveals what he's already done. As part of Operation Kino, he was the one who planted Aldo's dynamite in Hitler and Goebbels' opera box. Aldo agrees to the deal. Landa hands off the radio, confident he's just secured himself a clean, comfortable future. Marcel lights the film. And the screen catches fire. The Nazis panic. Smoke fills the theater. Shosanna's enormous face remains above them while flames spread through the building. Then the dynamite in the opera box detonates. It collapses the entire cinema. And Shosanna's revenge is finally happening, even though she isn't alive to see it. The girl Landa hunted 3 years earlier has finally destroyed the people who destroyed her family. But there's one final piece. Hans Landa. The man who started everything. And Landa is doing what Landa does best. Surviving. He thinks his deal with Aldo means he gets to walk away from the war as a respected man. A clean record. A new life. A comfortable retirement. Aldo lets him believe he's getting it. The moment Landa releases Aldo and Yudovich,
I'm officially surrendering myself over to you, Lieutenant Raine.
Aldo turns and shoots the German radio operator dead.
Are you mad?
Then he carves a swastika into Landa's forehead. Landa can escape the war. But he can't escape what he was. And suddenly the opening scene comes back. Remember Shosanna? The girl Landa had in his sights? The girl he decided wasn't worth killing? He thought he was showing mercy. He thought he was controlling the situation. But by letting her live, he created the person who would eventually turn his world upside down. And that's the real joke of this entire story. Everyone thinks they're controlling the game. Shosanna wants revenge. Aldo wants fear. The bastard want Hitler dead. Landa wants control. The Nazis want to keep their power. But every one of those desires eventually crashes into the same building. One cinema. One night. One massive collision of plants. Shosanna's revenge. Aldo's war. The British assassination. And Landa's attempt to survive. They all arrive at the same place. And only one side walks away with the story. Here's the question that stuck with me after this one. Was Aldo's punishment of Landa justice, or did he become just as brutal as the people he was fighting? And if Shosanna had survived to see the Nazis burn, would revenge have actually given her peace? Drop your take in the comments because I keep going back and forth on it. And if you want another story about someone who thinks they're in control, only to discover they've been walking straight into someone else's plan, that next one's already sitting right there on your screen waiting for